At Farmers State Bank, we believe leadership is the ability to help others solve problems. So we come to work every day with a common goal in mind, to help you succeed. Farmers State Bank is proud to be a leader in our community, providing banking services to businesses and individuals just like yours for generations. Farmers State Bank, your personal banker, with locations on Veterans and Hillcrest in Dublin and on Birch Street in Cadwell. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender. Farmers State Bank, a leader in the community.
Welcome to the Trinity Coaches Show, the basketball version, 2015 going on into 2016. Joining with me today is Coach Robbie Foskey. Coach, this is the first opportunity we've had to really sit down and talk. I've seen you around campus and I've known when you've been practicing, but I hadn't been able to talk to you at all about basketball. I know you're excited about basketball at Trinity. Trinity's excited about basketball. You got a lot of the football players that had about 48 hours rest and then they were on the basketball court. But I don't think they would have it any other way. Welcome to the show. We're going to talk about your basketball program. But first, let's talk about you a little bit. This is what year in coaching basketball at Trinity for you?
This is my 4th year as the head coach. I helped out as an assistant community coach for 2 years before that, leading up to it. But this is my 4th year as leading the program.
Tell us a little bit about your background, where you went to high school, where you went to college, and what got you into coaching basketball.
Well, I'd love to sit here and say there was a well-defined plan that led me here, but that wouldn't be true. I'm born and raised in Lawrence County, grew up here. I graduated from East Lawrence. I'm on the east side of the county. I played basketball there. I played basketball since I could pick up a ball. I got that honest. My father played. He actually played collegiately at Bruton Parker. So I guess I developed a love for the game, through him and playing when I was younger. Went to college at Georgia Tech. Did not play in college, but outside of high school, through leagues and intramural sports, have played a lot of different levels of competitiveness. Also officiated at just about every single level, and have coached a lot of different levels before I was asked to help out here 6 years ago. So that's kind of my story in a short, small nutshell. I've always had a love for the game, and I've always enjoyed being in the gym.
What sort of, other than being around it, being a gym rat, just loving the game, watching it, I'm sure watching college, pro, etc., high school, what sort of training, if any, have you put yourself through as far as being able to pick up some of the nuances of the game and the strategies of the game and the different offensive, defensive? I know that you got a lot of plays, and your young men have watching the blue-white scrimmage that we saw a couple of weeks ago. I was amazed at how many plays y'all did run and how well they knew the plays. Still got a long ways to go, obviously, but any type of outside training you've done?
Well, other than like most folks that really enjoy basketball, sitting down in front of a high school or college or professional game with a notepad and taking notes just about every time you watch one, because you can always pick up little things watching more experienced coaches and players. We do try to, or I do try to go to coaching clinics and things like that. In fact, one of the ones I've gone to for about 7 years now is Bob Hoffman's clinic up in Macon, Mercer. I think a lot of that man, not just him personally, but he has a great knowledge, just overall knowledge for the game. And he's one of the better offensive coaches that I've ever listened to. Just different things he runs, different sets. he's really good at running different offensive sets. But coaching clinics and just having a love for the game, really. I mean,
you went to the point guard college that was designed and one of the probably the best known that you and several of your players went a couple of years ago.
That's right. I'd actually forgotten about that one. That's a very well organized, very well run basketball camp, and it's not for coaches, but they allow a certain number of coaches to come be a part of the camp every time they host one, and it's just, I would recommend to any coach them making that information available to a player, because it's the things we teach every single day, they take it and go to another level with it and training these kids.
A lot of leadership, the players taking ownership of the program, being good leaders, and being a team player, not so much as a me player.
Yeah, not just the fundamentals, leadership, responsibility. Those are kind of the foundation principles of what they do, and it is a great camp.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. My son went, and to see that many basketballs and none of them hitting the floor until told was, several hundred kids. And it to be so well organized and no chaos. I'm like, how can you have this many kids, young men, women, that many basketballs and be that organized? It was just truly amazing. We're about halfway through our segment now. I wanted to talk about you and get a background, knowing that the Trinity program, you've taken it to a new level as far as participation as players and participation as the fans, and the Crusader Crazies are back. The students, the fans, taking it on their own and saying, we're going to have a blue out, or we're going to have a white out, we're going to have a black out, and you encouraging that. I can remember back when Terry Evans and Sam Perry and Scott Bradley and that crowd were fighting for state championships. The gym was packed every game, and it's getting back to that level, and it's exciting. Basketball at Trinity is exciting. So tell us about your current program, where it is and where you want it to go, and tell us about your players. Just tell us about Robbie Foskey's Trinity basketball team.
Well, the last year I was an assistant coach, the prior year before I took over, we had 8 kids on the varsity squad. 2 of those were 8th graders. It was tough. Most of our fans would come and watch the girls and then leave between games. It was a tough situation.
I think I was guilty of that.
It was a tough situation. I have been blessed with a great group of kids, and great parents, great support. We want to push them hard. We want to work hard. We want them to learn basketball fundamentals, teamwork, how to do all those things. At the end of the day, though, we have to try to remember it's a game and it should be fun. So we work them. We work them hard. You probably had a few instances of your son coming home and being pretty tired this year.
Yeah, well, he said that he won't eat before he goes again because it wasn't quite as good the second time.
Yeah, but it's a game and it has to be fun. They have to be confident. They have to enjoy it. So, and I've been fortunate when I played in high school to play in some really outstanding atmospheres. Now, East Lawrence at the time when I played was a single A school, so we played in some smaller gyms, but they were packed. We had a good team, but they were packed. And the fact in the last 2 years that we've had the opportunity to bring that same atmosphere here, I've told our guys, I said, listen, I've played in a lot of really good basketball atmospheres. Some of the games we've had here at our gym over the last 2 years have rivaled that and surpassed that, in my opinion. I can think back to the region tournament when we finished second 2 years ago. The gym was the championship game. Gym was packed, standing room only, people everywhere. That was an outstanding atmosphere. I can think back to rival games with John Millage, Frederica the last 2 years in our gym. gym's packed. And of course, we have introduced some programs that help us fill those seats, like our dunk program, things like that. But what that does is it gives families who otherwise wouldn't have that opportunity to come in and catch a basketball game. They come in, they have a good time, they enjoy it, so they come back and watch another one. So that's huge in my opinion, and we're not just trying to win now, we want to win. But we're building a foundation, we're building a program to where, you know, these guys are enjoying getting out there in front of folks and playing, people are enjoying watching them, and the kids that are coming are enjoying coming to the gym, so they like basketball. They pick up a ball at home. You know, it's like a snowball. Mm-hmm. We throw it down and roll it, and it starts getting bigger, hopefully.
Well, and you mentioned the foundation, the dunk programs, the elementary program that all your coaches get together and they put on a routine at halftime.
That's right.
All the parents, grandparents come, they stick around for the varsity games. Plus you got your junior pro program, which is several of your elementary kids loading up and going to opposing teams' gyms and playing, and they have a schedule. And it's quite the middle school and the job that Coach Traxler does and is phenomenal.
Right. It's more than just coaching after school and going to a game and coach. If I'm in charge of leading a program, there's a lot that falls under that umbrella.
Yeah. And I've watched coaches. I watch coaches and referees as much as I watch players, and I noticed that your composure on the floor is impeccable. I've never seen you just ride a player. You don't degrade the player. He just made a mistake, and you don't make him feel worse. Right. You let him know about it in the right way, because you've got to coach him up, but you don't degrade the player, which makes him want to just quit. Right. Real quick, we're running out of time, but let's talk about your current team and the player makeup.
Okay. This year we have 3 seniors, 2 of those returning from last year, of which started every game I think last year. So they will be the undeniable leaders of our team. That's Matt East and Nick Lewis. They're going to lead on and off the floor. Physically, mentally, emotionally, they're going to have to do a lot of teaching with this young group we have. We're going to look for a lot from them. The other senior is Jake Williams. He took a year off. I'm already seeing a lot of leadership out of him too. He's leading those younger guys. So we look for a lot from those 3 seniors. Past that, we have 1 junior, JT Knowles. And then, you know, it's all sophomores and freshmen after that.
It's kind of like a lot like the football program was. You got 1 or 2 seniors, or 2 seniors, very much like the football team. They had a few more juniors, but with those numbers and the athletes, off camera we talked about having that many freshmen and sophomores to be able to run the floor and the leadership out there. We cut up, but it's probably true. When the other team pulls up on the bus, they're going to start running, and hopefully you can outlast them.
Let me give you an example. In practice, we put 45 seconds on the clock. When it's time to take a water break, we break it down, we start the clock. If you're not back in 45 seconds, then you run. The mentality has to be up-tempo. Mm-hmm. It just needs to be ingrained in them. And just like you said, the reason for that is we're kind of young. So, and we've been conditioning a good bit, so we should be in shape. The thought process there is we have good athletes, and these younger guys, you've seen it, they play hard. They get after it, they compete. Sometimes it's difficult for underclassmen to compete against upperclassmen.
True.
So what we're trying to do is we're going to pick up the tempo. We're going to go. Take some of the thought process and the decision making out of their hands and let them just get in the open floor and play and react.
And the kids love it. They love that up tempo. The fans love it. It's fun to watch.
Right.
And as always, I have run the segment over time. Hopefully James Deal will come out again and us be able to talk about the progress of your team, maybe show some highlights as we go through the season. And I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being at Trinity and coaching our young men, and look forward to an exciting year. So thanks a lot, and if the viewers will hang on, Coach Lacey of the basketball team, we may have left the girls basketball team, we may have left her a minute or two. But Coach, I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the gym.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy.
Yes, sir.
When you're in the need for a bad boy mower, look no further than Cullen Supply and Engine Service. Bad boy mowers offer a big performance for any yard size. Bad boy mowers are a rock-solid, all-welded steel construction, and our Easy Ride system is a smooth ride for even the toughest jobs. Stop by today and ask Andy Collins to show you a bad boy at Cullen Supply and Engine Service at 910 East Jackson Street in Dublin and 826 South Harris Street in Sandersville. And our new showroom at 2210 Veterans Boulevard.
Welcome back to the Trinity Coaches Show, part 2 of today's segment with Coach Lacey Shepard of the Lady Crusaders basketball team, the 2015-2016 version of it. Lacey, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
This is the first time you and I have actually had an opportunity to sit down and even talk about basketball. I know that in the past I've talked to you about it some, but basketball is exciting at Trinity. I know that you're excited for it to finally be here. The fall sports are over with. Before we get started on the basketball team, let's talk a little bit about your background. It's my understanding that you come from the fierce rival Brentwood Academy.
That would be true. I went there from kindergarten through 12th grade and graduated in 1997. And from there, I went on to Valdosta State University and got my teaching degree, and then somehow wound up at Trinity.
Did you think it was odd that you ended up at Trinity after going to Brentwood all those years?
It kind of was odd. It's definitely different. Stepping on, actually going back to Brentwood's locker room for the first time as a coach was definitely kind of different.
I bet it was. This past week we saw Brett Favre have his jersey retired, but he went from Green Bay to Minnesota, and then he said it was just scary when he walked into the Packer Stadium as the foe rather than the golden child. And I believe I was probably at that game. You were assistant coach with Rick Johnson at the time. Is that right?
That's right.
And I believe my daughter may have been playing at the time.
She was.
And so, did we win that game?
I'm hoping we did.
You can't.
I can't remember. I've played them so many times now.
It has been a lot of times. So you got into coaching basketball, and Rick Johnson gave you an opportunity to be his assistant coach. In those teams, he's an excellent coach,
Yes.
excellent mentor.
Great to work up under.
Y'all had some successful teams. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
those.
we had 2 state championships, and that was, interestingly enough, the group that I had in middle school. Started with them in 6th and 7th grade, and got to see them win state championship titles as juniors and seniors.
And I believe when you had them as middle school players, they went undefeated.
They did go undefeated. They were a special group of girls.
They were scrappy.
Yes.
I could see them. Teams, I'm sure that people that follow basketball realize that basketball, as a lot of people think, is not a contact sport, but basketball is very much a contact sport.
It has moved from finesse to definitely contact.
And I can remember back with that group being in middle school, they were scrappy. They were not intimidated by anyone.
They were.
And then when they went to the juniors and seniors, they continued that scrappiness on.
They did. That was a deep group of almost 5 in, 5 out on the floor, which is kind of unheard of now.
So you've been at Trinity how many years?
Ooh. Total, I think around 12.
Wow, time flies.
It does.
And I had forgotten actually that you had coached middle school. Your cohort boys middle school coach was kind of giving us a hard time through the window there, but I had forgotten until you just reminded me of that. So, and I believe in those years when that group was juniors and seniors, Miss Knight.
Yes, I even actually had, the privilege of getting to coach her freshman year.
Right.
So, and now it's kind of come full circle because she's back this year as an assistant coach.
Yeah. And as for those that were not familiar with who Miss Knight is, that's Anna Claire Knight, finally called AC. She went on to play 4 years at Georgia Southern and gotten honors there. Academic All-Americans, and also I think she was made an All-American team as well. And to have her back, she probably brings a little bit of different type of insight and a lot of aid to you.
She does. I love it because she's got great drills. She's just fresh off the floor, so she's got new ideas and new ways to do things, which I think is great, and it's neat to see her bring a perspective, but yet, I feel like we complement one another, and so it's just kind of neat to see the age difference, but for the girls to hear it from two different angles.
Yeah, and a lot of times, a coach that's been here for 12 years, they've heard it all. But then to have someone who actually played college basketball to come back basically saying the same thing you've been saying,
Right.
then, oh, well, coach must know what she's talking about.
That's right. It's kind of like with the parents. They don't listen to their parent, but when somebody else says it, they get it.
Right,
So.
right. Well, I know that last year you had a pretty good season. Tell us a little bit about that season.
We did. I had 3 seniors last year, Abby Belote, Brooke Grove, and Sydney Bozeman. And we actually lost the game that would have put us in the Final Four. It was a heartbreaking loss for us. Led the whole game, and it just slipped away. But out of that season, I'm happy to say that Sydney Bozeman went on to sign with Furman to play. And is having some success there, been able to start some games already, and actually even came back and spoke to the team a couple of weeks ago. And it was neat the insight she brought, to the team, and letting them know, we tell them this time is fleeting, you're only in high school one time, and get that chance to play. And she kind of reiterated that to the team.
Sydney stands how tall?
6'3".
6'3". So, and I can only imagine that being 6'3", she wears a large shoe. Do you have anybody that's going to be able to fill those shoes?
Well, not in height-wise, but I do have Jay Johnson, who's a junior, who's big for us inside, and Lindsay Tate, who is a sophomore. Both play at our post position. Now, they don't bring the shot blocking skills that Sydney provided for us, and so we've kind of, talked about with the team, we don't have Sydney as our safety. She saved us a lot of points with her ability. So we're trying to kind of figure that out, but I think that both of those girls inside will provide some strong points and rebounds consistently for us.
You mentioned a junior and a sophomore. Do you have any seniors on your team?
I do. I have 2 seniors, Amelia Gay and Elizabeth Hurd. And they're both actually going to be versatile this year. They've both probably in the past played guard mainly, but we're using them at post as well, kind of swapping them up in different positions. But, both of them will give us good minutes and great effort, I know.
How many other juniors? You got 2 seniors. How many juniors on the
We
team?
have 4 juniors on the team. We have Randy Traxler, who's our point guard, returning starter from last year. We have Madison Williams, who is, good defender, coming off the bench last year, some for us, and getting definitely more playing time this year. And Kayla Sanders, who, should give us some good minutes.
Okay, so we got two seniors, 4 juniors, how many sophomores?
3 sophomores. I already mentioned Lindsay Tate inside. We have Victoria Clayton, who will also play post. And then we have Camille Rogers, who will see minutes at point guard as well as the shooting guard, trying to really get her to shoot the ball. And then to finish up our 11-man squad, we have 1 freshman, which is Carmen Leroy. And she has a lot of promise, a lot of hustle about her, so looking forward to seeing her grow in that.
I just sit here and I think, wow, all these girls that you just mentioned, I think I'm fixing to tell on our age. They were first grade when you first came.
That's right.
And as you were going through the list, I can remember these young girls coming up through the elementary program, the middle school program, and to hear they are juniors and seniors now is incredible.
Yep.
What does it mean to you to be able to coach these young ladies when they were little bitty girls in the first grade?
Oh, it's so much fun. I know that last year's senior class, actually, I taught them in kindergarten.
Wow.
So, you know, that definitely was just a neat experience to watch them graduate from beginning to end all the way. But I think it's so neat to watch them grow. And the same thing as we're growing our program, and we're starting now with Future Stars, which is 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. We've now got a junior pro team, which is 5th and 6th grade. So I feel like we've got basketball at every level at the school. And we also have a dunk program, which stands for Developing Upcoming New Crusaders, where we work on ball handling, and we perform at 3 of the varsity games after Christmas. And, just trying to get them to love the game of basketball at an early age, because it is a fun sport.
What's amazing to me is watching the youngsters in the dunk program at halftime during the boys game and the girls game, watching the opposing side, their mouth just drop open like, wow. And the first time I ever saw it, I was just truly amazed. And now I really look forward to seeing them and watching them develop. And now watching them enter into middle school, because this is the first year, I believe, that the dunk program is reaching the middle school age.
That's right.
So it's going to be interesting to watch them progress through their middle school years and their high school years.
Yes.
And that's what Trinity is all about. It's an environment that the kids get an opportunity to participate in sports that normally they would not. We don't have the numbers that a public school would have, but at the same time, we still send those that have the ability on to college. No, everybody doesn't that plays aren't of college caliber, but I don't think at any school they're all college caliber. It would be nice to have several Seth Currys out there, which the way I've seen some of them shoot, who knows? That is going to wrap it up for our time. I really appreciate you coming and spending time, and I was just giving the information in between segments that this may be a weekly thing. So we look forward to hearing about Trinity basketball. It's exciting. Maybe we can get some footage of some games, and also get some footage of the Crusader Crazies having a good time at the Trinity Christian Gym. Thank you, Lacey. I wish you the best of luck this season, and it's going to be an exciting one. So thank you so much, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.